Welcome back to Metroid Dread. We're right here in Artaria, and our map has told us there's an item cube over here, and that's about the only thing left for us to go towards. Looks like a power beam door right there we can do something about, and I think that's about it because we currently don't know how to go through these. So, when I was playing this game the first time, myself, when I got to this point in the game, I was kind of feeling like... I guess I was kind of feeling a little led on. Like, I was always going where the game wanted me to go, and Adam was showing up every now and then to give me useless information. And I had to tell myself, this is the beginning of the game. They're teaching you how to play the game. Because I was hoping, crossing my fingers, they're going to let me just run around and explore, right? They're not going to just lead me by the nose everywhere I need to go. But that's what I was thinking first time through when I got here. And honest to goodness, just hold tight. It's a weird looking something. Well, we can't get out that way. And we can't get out that way. Cool. So we're going this way. No, sir, I don't like it. This is a boss store. When you see one of these, there's going to be a boss on the other side. Now, I mentioned the idea of being led around, kind of. And up until now, that is sort of what happened. You've been through, at this point, effectively 2 tutorials. Your very first little run-through was straight up your tutorial. They stopped and told you how to do things. Then they gave you a little more freedom to run around and explore, but it was all still fairly simple and subtly, silently guiding you in the direction you needed to go. It certainly didn't feel like a tutorial, but they were teaching you how to play the game. And this all leads up to right here. This thing is your test. There we go. Finally got it. If you get through this, you are qualified to play the rest of the game. Now, this thing kicked the crap out of me the first time I played it. Let's hope with a little bit more familiarity with the engine as a whole, it may go a little bit easier. And you're off! So, for the most part, missiles, more often than not, are going to be your strongest form of offense. Missiles to the face. Phase 1 is down. Relatively easy. Can cloak itself. Now you have to hit the bulb. So he's got two different attacks, I guess you could say. Ah, yep. Crap. Yep. Wrong button. You got a gooey face. You got a gooey face. So when you see the tail reel back, oh, I saw it. I saw the thing that said, "Hey, block this or counter this." I saw it too late, but I saw it. I'm out of missiles. You had goop on the floor. What do you want me to do? Just keep an eye on the tail, mostly. Like, don't be distracted by anything else. I have some missiles. I mean, I'm probably supposed to shoot that thing. Not that thing. Yes! There we go, we did it. Oh, I got a bunch of missiles too. I'm shooting in that cutscene, by the way. I'm hitting the shoot it button. Hey. The Phantom Cloak. So as I mentioned, this boss kicked my butt. And I think I have gotten a lot more adept at reading the game and how it wants you to play and how it wants you to fight. I'm reminded very subtly of one of the first fights in Other M, where I was kind of under the impression that when you were fighting a boss or whatever, you would get to a point where you could hit it with missiles, and then you'd change over to the first person and have your little moment there where you could aim and shoot, like it would be a missile phase, almost. And I had a rough time, and I died a few times while I adapted to how they wanted me to use missiles. And they wanted you to do that very quick, snappy, look in, fire, back to what you're doing. And I had to adapt to that. Like, mentally I had to adapt to that. And I don't even mean, like, I had to actually do the thing. I mean, even if I had tried, I would have been incapable of doing it right away. I had to actually change the neurons connectors in my brain to be able to do this thing. And I think some of this is similar. One thing that I noticed was, I got hit a couple times by the tail. If you can ever counter a boss, that's how you do a stupid amount of damage to it. It's almost required that you do that counter in order to beat a boss. And I only ran out of ammo because I missed the counter like 3 times. I did that counter once, I got like 20 missiles or something. And during all of these cutscenes, I say cutscenes, but they are interactive, you will occasionally have to counter again during them, you have to shoot during them. And what you do does matter. You actually saw, as soon as I started shooting, I was dinking off of it, because my power beam just dinks off its face. So I had to start shooting missiles, and that was in the middle of the whole mess. And I was worried, do I even have missiles for this? And I glanced up and I had like 17 missiles. I got plenty from doing the counter. But then it's also the matter of being able to kind of aim out of the corner of your eye. So I could keep shooting it in the face, but watching its tail. Because its tail has 2 different moves, and you need to respond appropriately depending on what that move was. If you see it just raise up, it's going to stab in the ground, leaving some space between you and the boss. So, most of the time I ran away, but ideally you want to run towards the boss so it hits behind you. If you see it rear back kinda low and shake, jump, because it's gonna swing low at you. And that's mostly the boss. Like, I died a couple times figuring this out, but it's actually a relatively simple boss. And in that vein, I'm reminded a bit of Bunny Must Die. How you fought and controlled and ran around and what you were expected to do in Bunny Must Die felt real weird the first time I played it. I was so paranoid that, like, the moving platforms going up and down, I would stop time just so I can jump on them and off them again and then resume time. And then by the time I got through the whole game and played it again for the videos, like, you just go straight through. I friggin' did a power-up, not necessarily a 0%, but like wall jump bootless, gearless, wall jump bootless, dash bootless run of the... Like, it was stupid what you could do once you kind of adapted to it. And I feel very similar. So I've mentioned in this game, sorry that I'm just here talking for a really long time, I just have a lot of thoughts! I have emotions! Oh, this is kind of neat. Actually, looking at the background, this is something we won't see until later, but this is actually very similar to other rooms we'll see later on, like with a Chozo statue in the middle, kind of like this. Only this one is ruined. I mean, that's kind of our fault because we knocked a guy into it. But also even the background, the way it's like sloped to the side. This place is not doing so hot. But, I think the thing that I figured out with this game was that all of the bosses do follow a moveset-like AI. And I think when I first got into the fight, I didn't know what to expect. So I'm flailing around like an idiot, and I'm not really able to watch what the boss is doing, because I'm too busy, like, flailing around like an idiot. But now I could actually, this time around, I could actually pay a lot more attention to the boss. And he does follow a fairly basic moveset-like AI. He's going to do this in this context. He's going to do this in this context. He has choice few moves. No boss in this game just has like 8 billion moves, and you're like, how is he gonna attack me? What's gonna happen? He only has choice very few moves, and it's up to you to look at those moves and figure out how best to respond to them. And it's usually something simple. It's not like a fighting game. It's not like responding to your opponent in a fighting game, where like, oh, if they're doing this, you want to punish them like this, and if they're doing this, you want to do the anti-air like this. Like, it's not like that. It's like the guy's not going to barrel roll over you. He's going to try to stay a set distance away from you, and you want to stay a set distance away from him. That's fairly simple. His moves are fairly limited. He had the breath that he put along the floor, which had a long wind-up for it. He had the ball that he shot over your head, which was very much not a threat. It was mostly for you to get some ammo back if you needed it. And then he had the 2 different tail moves, which as long as you're shooting at him, but kind of keeping an eye on his tail out of the corner and what it's doing, then it's super easy to dodge. You either move towards him or jump up and away. And, like, that's the fight. You slide under him when he does the thing that they clearly telegraphed to you that you had to slide under him, and you counter on the other side. I don't know if it simply took me a long time to learn and adapt to the kind of game this is, but this kind of boss fight is exactly the kind of boss fight that I love. The mechanics dance. I've used that phrase a million times over, but it's exactly what it is. And if you can get past that, you have learned how to play this game. From here, the game is not necessarily done teaching you, because every game should always be teaching you right up until the end. But the game has begun. And the first thing you get, or the item cube that you got from the boss, was an Ion ability. Samus Returns actually introduced Ion, and I kind of didn't like how the Ion was used in Samus Returns. It felt very gimmicky. I've used that phrase a couple times. I felt a lot of Samus Returns was very gimmicky. But I felt it was very gimmicky and only useful, like the abilities they gave you were only useful and very easily identifiable. Right, I have to use this here and literally nowhere else abilities. Here, the ability we got was the Phantom Cloak, which is very simple to use. That's not the button. That's not the button. That's not the button. And that's not the button. That's the button. While it is active, you see the ion gauge slowly diminish, and while it's active, no one can see you. Enemies can't see you. Enemies can't see you. The gauge is lowering very slowly. If you do anything while cloaked, it does drain faster, such as moving. Alternatively, as long as it's not active, if you do literally anything other than stand still, that gauge recharges real quick. And it's full again. You don't have to go find a power-up. It's not a real limited resource or anything. As long as you just run around for like a second, you got your ion back, and it's not even a concern. You can even do stuff like jump and shoot while cloaked. It just takes notably more ion. And a real cool thing that they added, because of the gameplay and the choices that this gives the player, is when you run out of ion, you can stay cloaked, but it will drain your health instead of your ion. I think that's an amazing decision on their part, because it changed what was otherwise a very strict mechanic. You stay cloaked. the game would have to expect you to only be able to stay cloaked for a set amount of time, and that's it. If you're in a bad spot and you're cloaked, when it runs out, you're just out of luck. You die. That's it. But now, you can make that trade-off. It's a player choice of, I can stay cloaked just a little bit longer and take a little bit of damage, but I'll be fine, but I'll be safe. Or maybe I don't want to risk that damage. Maybe I should just gun it. Like, player choice. Player choice. Anyway, these are optical sensors. So if you cloak, you can go through these without triggering the sensor. Cool stuff. We can't go this way yet. Like, you can see my ion gauge is already full again. And you go through, and yeah, like you saw, it was like a quarter of my friggin' gauge. Okay, that's back into the E.M.M.I zone. We've already taken care of the E.M.M.I. And now that we have this cool new ability, we can go through these sensor lock doors. So we have a sensor lock door right here. That's pretty spiffy. And there's also a sensor lock door over here, which looks to be progressing us forward. Off the top of my head, I don't immediately see any other sensor lock doors. And if there are, they're fairly far away, so I'm not going to worry about them too much. So, for now... Oh, hey. I hate these things so much. Like, their tell for about to friggin' stab you in the face is the same as the tell for I'm gonna move a little bit. So I friggin'... And I've said I would really like it if the indication, the counter indicator, showed up just a little bit earlier. Because I kind of have to know it's coming and preemptively time it. Like, my reaction time just isn't fast enough. Maybe somebody else's is, but mine sure isn't. Okay, so now that we're here, we can go through this cool set piece room again. Nope. I thought that was a ledge over my head. I thought I was safe. Hey there, big guy. Okay, so not a lot down there. I'm gonna run down here anyway, though, just to map it. Because I noticed that the bottom right corner wasn't actually mapped. Like, I don't really care where the I was here indicator are, but, like, it was grayed out, so... Getting some heat. Doors open, hot inside. And we made our way to a purple room, which we found earlier. We were told earlier this is a transport to a new area. Now, the other neat thing, are we done in that first area? Not by a long shot. Even though the areas are very clearly segregated from each other, there's so much, not backtracking per se, but revisiting under a new context. new abilities, new goals, even the world changes. It's great. I feel like with that, they took what they did in Fusion. Remember Fusion? With, the grass? Not the grass. Floria? Tro? Whatever it was called. Remember Tro? How, like, all the roots were up, and then the bugs were in the way, and then you got rid of the roots, and you got rid of the bugs. Like, the way the world changed, which completely changed how you moved around that area, and that was super cool. They do the heck out of that in this game. Oh, hey. Well, let's go this way first. Because we have two options. Hot room. Lava in there. Got a lot of health, dude. That's 5 whole missiles. Oh. Okay, 2 hot rooms. So we're not going this way. So you have to go this way. And this is this is one of those, you had to find this on your own. I mean, I knew it was over here. But the obvious path forward is this door, which takes you to 2 heated rooms. So you're gonna go, well, this is progress. This is the only way I can progress. What do you do? And you can try a couple things, maybe shooting some areas here or there, but this one is nice because it's even though you can't see anything on the other side, and it looks just like a flat wall, it's the easiest thing to do by accident. You just run around shooting. Whatever the heck. Oh, you want to talk about smooth crap. Remember how I mentioned this? Just, you don't even think about it. You're just running and shooting, and you just go. There we go, I got that guy. The friggin' bouncing guy. Okay, so we got more fire. I don't like that guy. Got it. So I think the charge beam can hurt these guys. But they're tanky as heck. It's gonna be easier just to, like, kind of not deal with them for a minute. Unless you want to blow a bunch of missiles on them. Charge beam shots does it take? There we go. Fine. Like, they're not a major threat, so it's fairly easy to just kind of keep moving around them. Something over there we can't do anything with.
Uploading data.
Alright, Adam, what do you got for me?
VR appears to be powered by thermal energy. Magma is pumped from the planet's interior and routed from there.
Cool.
I have located the central routing system for the magma. It is here in Cataract.
Oh, because the magma was actually in the lower area. Remember the big set piece room? I think that was a thing like sucking up the magma. Which means it's being sucked up and then used here in Cataract.
Your current suit cannot protect you as you explore Cataract. The extreme heat of the lava is too much for it. Under no circumstances should you enter high temperature areas.
What if I do anyway?
I know the shuttle somewhere above here. Use it to find a path forward. There is one other thing to discuss. It is your new Phantom Cloak ability.
Yeah, I did get that
Phantom
thing.
Cloak prevents the E.M.M.I from detecting you. Thus far, your only option was to run. Now, bypassing them is also an option. Use this to reach your objective. Note that using the Phantom Cloak severely decreases your mobility, and direct contact with an E.M.M.I will still result in capture. It is up to you whether to hold your position. aware of your surroundings.
I mean, yeah, you're invisible, you're not intangible. You bump into him, it's gonna go, the heck was that Samus-shaped thing I just ran into?
The Phantom Cloak is useless. Once an enemy sees you, you will need to evade capture until it gives up pursuit. The Phantom Cloak can remain active after your aim has been depleted. It will consume your life energy instead. Consider it a desperate measure. Remember, it cannot drain your energy down to nothing. Judicious use of this technique will improve your probability of survival.
So it won't kill you, it'll just deactivate and let whatever's chasing you kill you. Oh, now I feel bad because I don't feel like we've done a lot today. I mostly talked a lot. So I kind of want to... These little butterflies are nice because you see them in some places, and they just kind of run away. They're not anything, but they're just a subtle indicator of, hey, you may want to think about going this way. Oh, this guy's a butt. Just friggin' flies over and beams you in the face. Oh, hey, cool, we can go this way. I prefer dodge them, though, because they're, you know, jerks. I want to kind of go up there, though. I never actually went in there. Anyway, let's hit this thermal thing. Alright, cool, that's going. Oh, that also means this door down here will no longer open. Yeah. Okay, so we can't go there. This is... I forget what this is. Energy, missiles. I don't really need either, so whatever. Oh, hey, this is up here where this was. Later, nerd. Ow. I am the nerd. It's suspicious. It is nothing. Man, this sure is a big open room. Hey, it's got those little bars in back, like I mentioned before. In the room with the guy. This is a cool looking room, though. See the big generator in back? I don't know what this thing is. Hate that you take so much health. Let's see here. So there is... Yeah, okay. There's an item indication on this screen. We won't be able to do anything with that for a very long time. Eh, what am I doing? You can't hurt me. I was hoping I'd make that jump. Am I annoying you yet? Pain? Oh, that just opens. Okay. Pain. Yeah, you can still see that generator. I mean, we're still effectively part of the same room, I guess. And that's pain, so I guess we're not going that way. We're going here first. It's like, why did I hit a wall? Why aren't I moving? See that thing down there? looks neat. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it looks a lot like Samus's power suit. Like, built for a Chozo to wear, but Samus's power suit. Which is neat, because, like, your power suit is kind of what makes you... you? It's what makes Samus Samus? But at the same time, like, you almost get the impression that power suits like this were just common among the Chozo. They just got them around. Okay. That's something we won't be able to deal with for a while. This guy is kind of a butt. Whoop. Yeah, see you over there. Ooh, that's pain. And that brings us here. Every time you see one of these doors, you go, not again. Yeah, remember how they couldn't go through morph ball-sized holes before? The last one couldn't? They sure can now. Okay, so I see you down there. I'm just gonna keep moving and hope for the best. Nope, 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 nope. Go down, go down, go down. Open, open, open! Ah, freedom! That one seemed kind of dumb. It was real heckin' close to me for not knowing exactly where I was. I think that's something else that it took me a little while to realize, to, like, learn about the E.M.M.Is, even though the game actively spelled it out for you, which is when they hear a noise, they enter pursuit mode. They're not chasing you at this point, they're just going to that point to investigate. And they even tell you where that point is, because you see the little, like, circle go bing where you made the noise. As long as you get away from that, or hide, you're still safe. You just have to keep moving. It's when they actively see you that sometimes I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do. I mean, keep running until they're not in active pursuit, and they're instead far enough away that you just gotta get the heck that you can potentially hide. Anyway, we got a whole new E.M.M.I area to deal with. Until next time, everyone.